For so long, AI has been this incredibly smart tool, but mostly just text in, text out. You ask something, it answers. But what if it could do more? Actually act on those questions, step out of the chat window like a genuinely smart assistant. Today, we're taking a deep dive into OpenAI's newest breakthrough, the ChatGPT agent. Yeah, our mission here is to really unpack the source material we've got. It's a great exploration from the MadFit Pro AI channel and figure out what makes this agent tick and why it feels like such a big shift in how we might work with AI. Because this isn't just about like better chat. It feels like a game changer. AI isn't just passive anymore, it's active. It's blending reasoning with, well, actual real world action. It brings together tools we've heard about separately, like Operator and Deep Research, into one dynamic system.
It really is incredible. And the significance, I mean, it sort of came out of nowhere, rolled out with very little fanfare, relatively speaking, and Sam Altman himself demoed it live. That really sets the scene, doesn't it? It forces us to rethink what AI can actually do. Moving way beyond just typing prompts, we're talking about real delegation now.
Okay, so let's unpack this agent then. How does it How does it behave? Because it's not just writing text. You're saying it acts like a person using a computer.
Exactly. It's trained using reinforcement learning, but crucially on actual tool actions. So it learns by trying things out, getting feedback, figuring out what works, sort of mimicking how we learn when using software.
Right, trial and error with digital tools.
Yeah, and here's the really game-changing part.
Yeah.
It operates within a virtual
A
environment.
virtual environment. Okay, what does that actually mean for you using it?
Well, think of it like a secure sandbox, a computer within a computer that the AI has full control over. It gets terminal access, so it can run commands. It has a web browser it can use. It can make API calls, talk to other software. It even has its own file system. This lets it tackle these really complex multi-step tasks that until now absolutely needed a human sitting there clicking and typing.
Wow, okay, so it's not just processing language. It's actually seeing metaphorically and acting inside a digital space. That is a huge leap, and you mentioned it gets even more interesting.
Oh, yeah. It's also multimodal. So
Yeah.
it can generate screenshots as it works, showing you what it's doing, and it asks for clarification. Reactively, if it gets stuck, but also proactively, just like, a good human coworker would. Hey, am I on the right track here? Sort of thing.
Okay, that's relatable. A
Yeah.
coworker who asks questions instead of just guessing.
Exactly. And it can switch tasks midway through without losing the plot, basically. It maintains context, so you can have these continuous workflows.
An intelligent coworker who actually remembers everything
Huh.
and asks clarifying questions. That's quite something.
It really is.
So, okay, we see the potential, how it works. Let's talk performance. The source material had some benchmarks, right? How does it stack up?
It does. So on this test called Humanity's Last Exam, quite the name without using any tools, just its base intelligence, it scored 23%.
Which is already better than GPT 3.5, apparently.
Right. But here's the kicker. With tools enabled, allowing it to act, that score jumps. Jumps to 41.6%. And that's actually higher than Grok 4's score of 38.6%.
Wow. Okay, so the tools make a massive difference.
A massive difference. It really shows how tool use boosts that real-world practical performance. Then you look at specific tasks. In Excel, it scored 45.5% against a human average of 71.3%. Still a gap, but significant capability. And in web-based tasks, using the Web Arena benchmark, it hit 69% compared to a human's 78.2%.
So it's getting closer, especially on the web tasks.
Exactly. It's clearly moving beyond just chat. This is about doing things, which, makes you wonder, how much higher can these scores go? And what does that gap really mean in day-to-day use?
Yeah, that gap, especially in Excel, is interesting. Is that just about the training data, you think? Or is there something fundamentally harder for an AI about like a spreadsheet interface compared to a human?
That's a great question. I suspect it's a bit of both, really. I mean, the training data is huge, but complex interfaces like Excel, they often need this nuanced grasp of human intention, visual layout, stuff that's still developing for AI.
Right, context.
But the fact that it's closing that gap so fast, that's the really astounding part.
Absolutely. Which brings us nicely to the practical stuff. What can this ChatGPT agent actually do for you? The source listed quite a few things.
Yeah, the list is pretty extensive.
Like converting dashboards into editable presentations. That sounds useful.
Definitely. Or scheduling and booking offsites. Updating spreadsheets based on info from emails, that's a classic time sink.
Oh, yeah. Extracting structured data from PDFs. Another big one.
Building entire travel itineraries, flights, hotels, reservations performing deep research using the web browser, and then outputting it neatly into, say, Excel or PowerPoint.
It just sounds like hours of tedious admin work potentially just gone.
It really does. And the source gave a fantastic example, very concrete.
What was that?
The agent was asked to research San Francisco's 5-year city budget. Okay. So it went to the city website, found the relevant PDF documents,
Uh-huh.
extracted about 200 numbers per file, and compiled it all into a properly formatted Excel spreadsheet.
And the accuracy.
98% accuracy, fully automated.
Wow. That's not just automation. That's like high-quality junior analyst work done automatically. It changes where humans need to focus, right?
Yeah.
More on analysis, less on just collecting the data.
Precisely. It handles the grunt work so you could do the thinking.
To think AI can do that now,
Yeah.
it does shift what tedious means.
Yeah.
And okay, beyond professional tasks, it gets personal too. You mentioned connectors.
Yes. OpenAI is allowing it to use these secure links, connectors to access your stuff. Gmail, Google Calendar, Dropbox.
Okay, so it can see my emails and schedule. How does that work?
It means it starts to learn your history, your preferences, things like maybe you have dietary restrictions or when you're usually free. It uses that context to tailor what it does for you. The example in the source was pretty cool. It could automatically book a gluten-free sushi dinner reservation with your fiancé, finding a time when you're both free.
Huh. Okay, that's more than just convenience. That's proactive assistance that actually knows you.
Exactly. Personalized, proactive help based on your context.
The source also mentions some more fun experimental prompts people were trying.
Yeah, pushing the boundaries a bit. Like, could it code and actually launch a simple playable game? You know, download the art assets, zip it up, send you a link.
Ah.
Or could it scrape eBay listings to build a budget for a used PC?
Interesting.
Playing online games like chess, fact-checking memes, or blurry headlines using image recognition on a screenshot.
That's actually really useful.
Right. Or even using other AIs like Gemini or Claude through what they call API chaining. So one AI calls another to get more done.
Okay, AI using other AI. That opens up possibilities.
It really does. That deep tool access makes all these sort of wilder ideas feel much more plausible now.
And what are people saying? The community reactions?
Well, the feedback highlights the immediate impact. Early testers are reporting some pretty amazing things. Imagine this. Processing over 1,500 emails and then generating analytical reports from them autonomously.
Wow. For a small business or just a busy person, that's huge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The examples really show it acting like a highly efficient junior employee or maybe an intern. Handling those typical white-collar tasks, data entry, summaries, basic research, almost as efficiently as a person.
So connecting this to the bigger picture, it feels less about crafting the perfect prompt now.
Yes, it's shifting fundamentally towards delegation. You're not programming it with a prompt, you're assigning it a task.
Delegation. That feels like the key word here. Okay, so availability. How do people get their hands on this?
Right, the rollout details. For pro users, starting this month, July 2025, they get immediate access. And quite a lot of usage. 400 messages per month.
Okay. And for others?
For Plus and Team users, it's rolling out over several days with a lower limit of 40 messages monthly. Enterprise and education users should get it within weeks.
Got it. And there was a note about location.
Ah, yes, important point. Currently, it's not available in the European Economic Area, the EEA, and Switzerland, likely due to legal or regulatory reasons.
Okay, good to know.
And for those who can get it, the source creator, Matt VidPro, recommended the Plus plan, the $20 a month one, as being pretty cost-effective and enough for most people to experiment with right now.
Makes sense. So, stepping back, after all this,
Yeah.
what's the big takeaway? You use the phrase paradigm shift.
I think it really is. The core insight, to recap, is we're moving away from an AI that just responds to your input, one that actively thinks, acts, explores, and collaborates. It's not just about the words you type in the chat box anymore. It's about the actual tasks you can confidently delegate, knowing the AI can navigate these real-world digital environments and, get stuff done.
Yeah, the ChatGPT agent feels incredibly close to taking over a lot of that traditional intern or junior associate work. Research, planning, data synthesis. It's still not perfect, obviously. We saw the benchmark gaps. But it seems to be climbing towards human-level productivity in those areas really fast. So for you listening, maybe consider this. If AI can now handle complex stuff like digging through city budgets or managing your schedule and knowing your preferences, What does that mean for human expertise? What new roles pop up? How do existing jobs change when delegation becomes the main way we interact with this kind of advanced AI?
And that directly leads to the question, how will this shift, this move from prompt engineering towards delegation, how will it fundamentally reshape not just our work, but maybe even how we approach problem solving itself? And maybe more immediately, what's the first thing you would choose to delegate?